IRCC has launched the Rural Community Immigration Pilot Program. They have essentially amended, slightly changed the previous Rural Northern Immigration Pilot Program and changed it to Rural Community Immigration Pilot. Now, with the new Rural Community Immigration Program, what has changed, what are the requirements, and how you can go about applying under this program? These are the questions we are getting through calls every single day. People are very interested. They want to know what's required, and this is what we are going to talk about in this video. Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Dhruv and I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant. At our firm Effizient Inc, we assist all prospective immigrants with their immigration to Canada. If you are an aspirant, you need assistance, you want help with your personal immigration application, here is our contact information. Feel free to contact us. We would be happy to assist you. If you would like to talk with me personally, the link to book an appointment is in the description of this video. Feel free to book an appointment and I would be happy to chat with you. On January 30th, 2025, IRCC launched the Rural and Francophone Community Immigration Pilot programs. But before we go into the details of that, let's quickly answer the comment of the week. This comment comes on our video on LMIA median wage changes, as well as changes to the business legitimacy documents that ESDC asked for. And the question is, can an attestation letter from bank as a financial institution work for LMIA application? This is an excellent question. There are two things you need to prove for business legitimacy. The first is proof of providing good or service. For this, ESDC does not accept any attestation letter, be it from a lawyer, a CPA, or a financial institute. And the second is proof of the ability to fulfill the terms of job offer. For this, ESDC does not accept attestation letters from lawyers or accountants, but it still accepts attestations from financial institutes. The financial institution can still write an attestation letter that you can use for providing the proof that you can fulfill the terms of the job offer, or in other words, you can pay the foreign worker that you're trying to hire. I hope this answers your question. Now let's talk about the Rural and Francophone Community Immigration Pilot Program. Now guys, on the screen you can see the news release by IRCC. This news release was done on January 30th, 2025, and this was about the launching of Rural and Francophone Community Immigration Pilot Program. Now here IRCC talks about the RNIP. This was the successor of this program. This was the program that IRCC discontinued in August last year, and now they have launched this Rural Community Immigration Pilot. Now for the RCIP, that is the Rural Community Immigration Pilot, there are certain communities that IRCC has included, and these are, there is a community in Nova Scotia, in North Bay, Sudbury, in Ontario there is North Bay, Sudbury, Timmins, Sault Ste. Marie, Thunder Bay. All these were also in RNIP. Then in Manitoba, Steenbach, Altona, Rhineland, Brandon, some of these were in RNIP as well. And then for Saskatchewan, Moose Jaw, this was in RNIP, and so on and so forth. Similarly, for the Francophone Community Immigration Pilot, there are all these communities that have been included. Now you guys will see that some of these communities are common between Francophone as well as the rural community immigration. Now guys, not only the RCIP is a great option, but also I want you guys to carefully consider the FCIP, which is the Francophone Community Immigration Program, because the requirement for a French language for this program is relatively lower, and very easily you can achieve this particular threshold, and it is less competition, of course, because it requires French. So to quickly give you an option, give you an understanding, for FCIP, this is the French requirement. You need minimum score of CLB 5 in all 4 abilities. That's it, CLB 5, and you can apply under this program if you are in one of these communities which qualify under the FCIP. Now for the rest of this video, we will focus on the RCIP, that is the Rural Community Immigration Pilot, and we will give you an understanding of what are the requirements and what is required for this particular stream. So who can apply? The first thing is language. With regards to the language, you have to meet these requirements, guys. If you are in tier 0 and 1, you need to have CLB 6, tier 2 or 3 CLB 5, and tier 4 and 5 CLB 4. Very easy, very simple language requirements, nothing big. Then comes the education. Now guys, in this particular stream, you need a minimum of high school equivalency for your education. So if we go here and we talk about what counts as equivalent education, it says that you need Canadian high school diploma for education in Canada, or for foreign education you need an ECA for your foreign education that should at least be equivalent to a high school diploma. So I hope this clarifies the education requirement under the RCIP. On top of that, you need at least 1560 hours of related work experience. That is straightforward. This was the requirement in RNIP as well. And you need a valid job offer from a designated employer in the community. Now guys, in RNIP, there was no such thing as designated employer. Now they have introduced this concept of designated employer, very similar to AIP, Atlantic Immigration Program. Most likely the employers will have to be designated by the community office before they can support foreign workers for their permanent residency under this program. Now, the most important question is, what is related work experience, guys? So based on the category of your job offer, there are certain different categories you may fall in. If your job offer is in tier 0 or 1, your work experience must be in 0, 1, 2 or 3. So even if you've worked in tier 3 for 1 year and you get a job offer as a manager in tier 0, you can still go ahead and apply. The knock code does not have to be the same. If your job offer is in tier 2, then the work experience has to be tier 1, 2, 3 or 4. If the job offer is in tier 2 or 3 or 4, then the work experience can be in tier 2, 3 or 4. And if the job offer is in tier 5, that's where there is a condition, and the catch is your knock code and your job offer knock code. So the job offer knock code and the work experience knock code should match exactly. There is of course an exception for healthcare workers, and that applies to nurses and home support workers. So if you fall into that category, then you would be exempt. You should see and watch for this exception. Then comes the language ability. We've already talked about the language ability, guys. The language ability is CLB 5. For the work experience, there is an exception. So if you have studied for 2 years or longer in one of these communities, then you are exempt from the 1560 hours of work experience requirement. You only need a job offer to apply. Then we have already talked about the education, that you need to show high school. And lastly, you need to show that you have enough money. Now for the settlement funds under the RCIP, they are very simple. For single person, you just need $7,963, almost $8,000. For two people, you need around $10,000, right? So depending on your family size, you can refer to this table to get a sense of how much money is required for your particular scenario. So in short, the number one requirement here comes out to be that of a job offer from a designated employer. You need to make sure that the employer is designated. Secondly, you need to ensure that you have the relevant experience or you meet the education in that community requirement. Thirdly, language. Fourthly, education, that you have high school. And in most cases, job offer and experience is the main thing. If you have that, then you can go ahead and apply under this program. Now guys, after you have met all these requirements, then comes the section of getting a job offer. And this talks about the fact that each community has designated certain employers to make job offers. For that, you need to check the community website, right? So let's look at, say, North Bay, Ontario, and see if we can find. Well, at the moment, none of the communities have actually launched their websites. Once they do, then we would know the list of designated employers and the process that community wants us to follow. Now, keep in mind, guys, like in RNIP, each community had its own selection criteria as well. You need to meet the federal criteria and then the community selection criteria to be picked under this program. Similar stuff will happen this time around. The communities are going to use almost similar rules in most cases, but we have to wait for the communities to release their plans, release their websites for us to know. And then comes the next step once you have met all of this, to apply for PR. That's it for this video, guys. We have talked about the RCIP and briefly touched FCIP. If you are a candidate looking for some ways for permanent residence, you should consider these programs. Keep an eye on all these communities and their websites to make sure you don't lose a chance once they publish the information. And as they do, we will try to share the information that we have. And to stay updated about that information, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you are notified about any new video that we upload. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. If you like this video, please hit the like button, subscribe, and hit that bell icon again to be notified about any new video that we upload. Thanks again for tuning in. I'll see you in the next video.